Huawei is very dangerous.
Rarely does a country go to war with a private company.
We have met the enemy, and it is Huawei.
We're not going to do business with Huawei.
Huawei represents a national security risk.
But is this really about Huawei?
Huawei is very dangerous. Rarely does a country go to war with a private company. We have met the enemy, and it is Huawei. We're not going to do business with Huawei. Huawei represents a national security risk. But is this really about Huawei, or is it something bigger than that? Goodbye Google. How Huawei is redefining the tech world. Imagine a digital world without a single Google service. No Google Search, no Gmail, no YouTube, no Android. Just a few years ago, that would have sounded impossible. But today, it's becoming a reality. Huawei, once seen as a casualty of US sanctions, is not only surviving without Google, it's thriving. And this shift could redefine the global technology landscape. Music. The turning point came in 2019 when the US government imposed sanctions that barred Huawei from accessing Google services. Many predicted disaster, but instead of folding, Huawei turned adversity into opportunity. Fast forward to 2025 and Huawei has built a self-sustaining tech ecosystem that rivals Google in key markets. At the core of this transformation is HarmonyOS, Huawei's homegrown operating system. As of today, HarmonyOS powers over 900 million devices globally, from smartphones and tablets to smart TVs and cars. Unlike Android, which is deeply tied to Google's ecosystem, HarmonyOS was built from the ground up to be fast, secure, and flexible. In China, where Google was already limited, HarmonyOS has captured 25% of the smartphone market, trailing only behind non-Google versions of Android. But HarmonyOS is more than just an operating system. It's part of a much larger vision. It connects Huawei's entire hardware lineup and supports seamless integration between devices, offering a level of ecosystem synergy that even Apple is still striving to achieve. And while an OS is critical, services are equally important. That's where Petal Search comes in. Huawei's answer to Google Search. Petal Search isn't just a basic search engine. It offers apps, news, and localized services tailored to regions where Huawei is expanding. It now handles millions of daily searches across Asia, and Huawei is aggressively expanding it into Europe and Africa. As data privacy becomes a bigger concern globally, Huawei is positioning Petal Search as a less intrusive alternative to Google's ad-driven algorithm. The numbers are staggering. Huawei's AppGallery now boasts over 580 million monthly active users. While that's still behind Google Play's 2 billion, it's growing rapidly. Meanwhile, Huawei's new Mate 70 series powered by the Kirin 9100 chip is outselling its competitors in China. Even without access to US chip manufacturing tech, Huawei has made incredible strides, proving that innovation can flourish under pressure. In 2024 alone, Huawei sold 35 million smartphones in China, a 40% increase year-over-year. It's not just about survival. It's about proving that a Google-free tech ecosystem can succeed. Strategic partnerships with companies like Tencent ensure must-have apps like WeChat are available and optimized, giving users fewer reasons to miss Google services. Of course, Google hasn't stood still. It's updating Android 15 with stronger privacy features and deeper AI integration through its Gemini platform. It's also reducing Play Store fees to compete with rivals like Huawei. But at the same time, Google faces growing regulatory scrutiny in Europe and mounting concerns over data privacy, creating openings for competitors. So what does this all mean for you? If you live in a region where Google dominates, switching ecosystems might still be inconvenient. Many of us rely on YouTube, Gmail, Google Maps, and Drive, but Huawei's rise is changing that conversation. It's giving users a choice, something we haven't had in a long time in mobile tech. Huawei's devices are impressive. Foldable displays, 100W fast charging, cutting-edge AI features, all often priced lower than Google's Pixel lineup. But outside China, they still lack native access to Google apps. You'll need workarounds to access services like Gmail and YouTube, and AppGallery isn't yet as comprehensive as the Play Store. For businesses, however, especially in Asia and Africa, Huawei's cloud services are a serious alternative to Google Cloud. They offer competitive pricing and comply with local data laws, making them appealing in regions with strict data sovereignty requirements. Developers might also appreciate Huawei's lower App Store commission fees, although Google's development tools still hold an edge in maturity. Looking ahead, Huawei has ambitious goals. It aims to have HarmonyOS on 1 billion devices by 2026. It's also enhancing Petal Search with AI, challenging Google's dominance in search and knowledge-based services. Huawei is investing heavily in 6G and smart city infrastructure, expanding into areas where Google is still developing its presence. But the wild card is geopolitics. US-China tensions continue to influence which technologies can go global. Huawei's success remains constrained by export restrictions and political battles. Yet, their resilience is undeniable. They've built an entire tech stack from chips to cloud under some of the world's toughest conditions. What makes Huawei's story so compelling is how fast it's happened. Founded in 1987 as a humble telecom equipment provider in Shenzhen, Huawei spent years behind the scenes. When they entered the consumer market, they brought decades of engineering and manufacturing know-how. That preparation paid off when the Google ban hit. This isn't just about Huawei versus Google. It's about a fundamental shift in how tech ecosystems grow and compete. The era of US-centric digital dominance is giving way to a multipolar tech world with different companies setting the rules in different regions. Samsung, Xiaomi, and others are building their own platforms too, making the tech world more diverse, competitive, and in some ways more fair. Google is still dominant, no doubt, but the company can no longer take that dominance for granted. The future won't be written by a single tech giant in Silicon Valley. Instead, it'll be shaped by competing visions from around the world, and Huawei's vision is now impossible to ignore. So, are you ready to explore life beyond Google? Let me know in the comments. If you found this video insightful, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who cares about where the future of tech is heading. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Huawei is very dangerous. Rarely does a country go to war with a private company. We have met the enemy, and it is Huawei. We're not going to do business with Huawei. Huawei represents a national security risk. But is this really about Huawei, or is it something bye-bye Windows? Bye-bye macOS? There's a new force in town, and it's not just knocking on the door, it's kicking it wide open. Huawei's HarmonyOS is sending shock waves through the tech world as it boldly enters the personal computer market, ready to take on the long-reigning giants of Microsoft and Apple. This isn't a minor update or some quirky side project. This is a full-blown operating system built from scratch. Fast, futuristic, and beautifully flexible. It's more than an operating system. It's the beginning of a new era in computing. Imagine booting up your PC and instead of the usual loading screen, you're greeted by a cinematic burst of particles swirling like a galaxy, merging into the glowing HarmonyOS logo. It's not just a boot animation. It's a visual promise that something extraordinary is about to begin. HarmonyOS has taken the best of both worlds, Windows and macOS, and fused them into something fresh, sleek, and customizable. Want that clean top bar macOS feel? Go ahead. Prefer the Windows-style taskbar at the bottom? Slide it down. The user interface adapts to you, not the other way around. The bottom dock bar becomes your launchpad. Pin your favorite apps, switch between tasks, and glide through your workflow with buttery smooth animations that make every click feel satisfying. But HarmonyOS isn't just eye candy. It's a beast under the hood. When we stress tested it, launching apps, flipping browser tabs, resizing windows, it didn't stutter. It didn't break a sweat. Everything responded instantly. Transitions were seamless and the system felt like it was choreographed by a Hollywood director. Opening a massive 1 GB file in WPS done in 1 second. That's not fast. That's teleportation. And the visuals razor sharp. Whether you're editing videos, scrolling social media, or watching high-res content, the graphics are consistently fluid and crystal clear. There's even a task manager that looks and feels like an evolved version of Windows, giving you full control over every process. Now, let's talk about the app situation. The elephant in the room. Yes, HarmonyOS doesn't yet match Windows' massive 700,000 app library, but it's off to a strong start. But one thing is already certain. HarmonyOS is not a fluke. It's not a fad. It's a force. And it's here to stay.